Our president is ill at home today, so I'm sure she'll be back soon. But let me introduce the topic. Paul Backer is with us. He's with the Transportation. Emily Luth, engineer with who are the project engineers, I think. Is that the correct term?
Paul is the
Project engineer.
I'm more a helper on the job.
A helper. And Commissioner Stenglein is here this morning. He'll be talking as well. Before we start, does anybody have any exciting announcements? I know last month we skipped. Now we're back to the bridge, Paul. To the bridge. You want to give us a little overview?
Sure. Thank you for inviting us out. What a great group. We're kind of half awake. We got our caffeine loaded up, so I'm here to deliver some good news. I believe good news, and we're going to share a little update as to where we are with the Laureate Bridge. And we're approximately, if we were to throw a number at it, maybe say 25% complete, which is a nice thing to hear, that progress is moving forward. So that's exciting to all of us in the room. Behind me, you've probably already seen some of the artist renderings. I have a few on PowerPoint and just a couple real-life photos to sort of show the fun we're having out on the river. So let's jump into it. This will be a view looking right from, not to sell the liquor store, Bob, but we got to break up your liquor store, right? So that's the view out his front door there when we're finished. And you can see what's interesting with the bridge. The bridge is approximately 450 feet across the river. That's the main span, so we've opened up that nav channel significantly from what the old bridge was that all of us remember it. The arches are actually made out of steel. They're actually being manufactured. I'm going to visit the beloved arches next week out in Clare. So a lot of folks from the upper Midwest working on this project, and primarily locally here as well. So that helps. Thanks. Here's a little aerial shot here of that was snapped, I think, about 2 weeks ago. You can see, just to orientate yourself, we're looking at the stream here in this photo. And you can see that the two main river piers that support the main nav channel are coming out of the water, which is exciting here too. If we zoom in on the east shore a little bit, get our eyes a little more focused, you can see we already have that that curved wall, which is referred to as the overlook wall. And we're going to redo a beautiful streetscape there. You recall, many of you, that is the Minneapolis Parkboard property. And we had a nice brick paver neighborhood identification in there with all the names of the neighborhood. And all of that was salvaged and will be replaced and reconstructed with a nice streetscape and a nice two-level plaza overlooking the bridge. So it'll be quite beautiful. To connect the east shore to the river, we have to basically construct a wooden bridge to get us here. Oops, my mouse is going a little silly this morning. Let's drink too many cups of coffee here. We get to yeah. This shows you a little more of the Parkboard property there that we'll be reconstructing. Many of us know we had to remove that Super America. We're going to treat all the drainage water coming from the northeast before it enters the river and clean up that water so that it's going to be cleaner before it enters the Mississippi River, all the road runoff from the northeast area. So this gives you a little bit of view from this. This is a little bit older photo. You can see we began working on the project at the end of January. We actually had to chip ice to get out there and begin working. And it's hard to believe in this beautiful October we're having that ice is right around the corner. I shouldn't say that nasty word, but we will be working all through the winter once more on this project and doing what we can to work around the weather. You can see a lot of the noisiness, the big driving of the foundation piles is generally behind us now. So you can see in this photo we're driving big 32-inch round steel piling that went 150 feet below the river to support the bridge. So this foundation will last us for 100 years for sure. So it's very, very deep and just north of the bedrock layer in there. Okay? Here's a little shot of that temporary bridge and that overlook wall once more. You can see that we actually have to construct these temporary steel beams, and then the new bridge that comes from the east and comes from the west shore will actually be like an enclosed concrete cell that's like 8 feet high in a series of cells. It's a very robust design, and so it takes a lot of lumber and forming, and we're going to start probably about the first week of November pouring the floor to those cells, pouring the actual concrete there. So.
Will there be pedestrian underway or underpass?
No, the actual pedestrians will be up actually on the level of the bridge. And you can maybe see this if I get out of the way. The pedestrians will be on either side with really nice wide sidewalks here. They'll jot out to almost 19 feet in dimension, and then 12 where it's more slender along there, which is the width of a driving lane on either side of the bridge. So it'll be very nicely, very easy to transverse the bridge if I'm a cyclist or walking.
So Paul, I think the question was, will there be trail access?
Thanks.
To
Well,
go,
trail access from the north and south.
Yeah.
Right now, our project does not include that. However, our project has thought forward to leave enough room. The Above the Falls group, we just had a meeting with them, I think it was in late August. We're meeting with them, and they're still looking at alternatives on how to kind of redevelop trails. north and south.
We made room for a trail.
Right, exactly.
That's,
Yep.
Will there be bike lanes on the bridge?
There will be room for them on the edge here and also on the sidewalk. It'll be wide enough. Typically, engineers, if we use a multi-use trail, use a 10-foot, and here we have 12-foot wide, and then 19 going around those river cruise. Okay. All right. And this is just another look at the temporary bridge. This is taking us over to the west side, or North Minneapolis side, and it's showing some of the progress. This is just shot two days ago as we form up for these cells. And another little shot, this is looking from North Minneapolis to Northeast Minneapolis, and just a little bit different view. We had to relocate some of the Xcel Energy transmission lines so that the bridge will split right through there, and gives you a little bit different look across the river. I think I heard some of you had the pleasure of going actually on the water on the Mississippi Queen is doing the bridge recently, which is a very interesting view of the bridge as well, and gives you a little shot of the magnitude. Here's been our latest focus, is actually doing some of the architectural pier legs that are going to support the main bridge span here. We just poured our second set of pier legs on this would be on the North Minneapolis side of the river. It's approximately about 200 feet in from the west shore into the river, and then, as I said, it's about 450 from this point to the easterly side of these piers, which we will be moving to this week now. So you can see a lot of the complexity of putting the reinforcement in, and the interesting shape and having to do all the form work. It looks ugly now, but when we look at this, we'll see how beautiful it is. So we had great success pouring a really new concrete design that we just tried, which is very interesting, very viscous, and should give us a really nice, smooth-looking pier legs. And just to prove that we're giving everything we can, I wanted to show you that I ended up missing supper for a few nights already. So we've been working into the evening, a beautiful shot here of the Minneapolis downtown, and us still trying to get some of that concrete poured in these pier legs. So I think that was our last slide. Any other questions at this moment, or we can certainly entertain them informally afterwards as well.
So that's being poured in place, right?
Yes. Yes.
so next, when these are done, that's going to be deck level.
Yes, this will be actually, at this elevation that you see here, we'll be adding another 8 feet. So that'll be the level of the vehicles or the pedestrians or the cyclists will be 8 feet higher than that wood plywood you see in the right-hand side of that slide.
What's the plan on the west side? The old causeway is going to be left in place for now? The old approach or?
No, it's being rebuilt.
Right, thankfully, we're just able to secure funding for what we refer to in the engineering world as phase 2, which will take the land, it'll be a land bridge as well as new retaining walls and road approach that takes us to 2nd Street north there. And much needed, and I was very thankful that the funding was secured, because that'll really tie this all in together, so. Yes?
When is the expected opening date?
We're focused on summer of 2012 because of this phase 2. We have to kind of put the two projects together, as it may make sense that certainly the bridge itself might be a little ahead of that, but we certainly have to get phase 2 finished, so we'll have to close and reopen and klutz it. We want to do it as a nice, warm, classy opening. So.
Paul, when will it start looking like a bridge?
Will be probably next spring as we'll actually be making the connections of the actual driving surface. The arch erection is programmed at this point to be July, August of 2011. Okay, when we actually see the arches and then the cables these be erected and that sort of thing. So.
By going 150 feet down with the footings, then whatever happened with the old Lowry Bridge shifting just will not be applicable to this bridge?
No, it won't be. And what was interesting, because some of you may know I was the project engineer on the removal of the old bridge. And what was fascinating, if you like history, we pulled out the old timber piles that are actually wood piles that supported the bridge. They're like 14 feet long. It's like, whoa, 14 feet. Where's the rest of this? No wonder it began to tilt a little bit on us, unfortunately. So, and recall, or maybe not all of you realize, that bridge was put in 1905, and that was the technology and the common practice. And when I worked on the Hennepin Avenue Bridge, and when we took that old one out and so forth, and I researched the history of the Hennepin Bridge, and you know, they were designing for horse travel, of course, at the turn of the century. We kind of quickly forget that in our new society we live in. So it was just that's what they had available for equipment. So it was pretty evident why we had some problems once we actually got into that. So yes.
Probably a silly historical or maybe romantic question. Will it still go clunk, 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 clunk when we're driving down it? Or what will the bass be like?
We can put some rumble strips.
Oh,
Right. Or to wake you up, you know, those big rumble strips they have on the edge of the highway when you drift off. So, right, we all enjoyed the old steel bridge. I mean, I grew up in North Minneapolis, so I remember it as well as you. It is sort of neat, but it was also a little frightening when it kind of grabbed the fingers to it. So I think we'll make it a little smoother this time.
Okay.
Or we'll try our best. Yes.